All right, everyone. Hey, welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View Commentary for the 28th of April. This will be our last one for the month. This will be the one that this is a version of what I'm going to send out through the market recap Wednesday or Thursday. So glad you guys are here. Pretty simple to understand, and a couple of you have asked me a couple other questions, so I will go through that as well. Questions via email. Well, yeah, it's only two. Okay, so here we go. My title or my thought process for this week is, so what a jumble of crap is the world we live in right now. And I'm really enjoying this because of a couple things that I most recently heard. Let me go a couple questions to you guys, and let's just start from there. Are we in a recession? Thought processes, what do you think? Are we in a recession? Thank you, Britons, from being in. Gotcha. Thank you, Vicky. No, there we go. And maybe a better way to say it is not yet. Have tariffs kicked in yet? Yes or no? Have tariffs kicked in yet? The correct answer is, let's go with that one. Some yes, which is primarily on China. Everyone else across the board, 10%, pretty much has been postponed for 90 days. Couple more questions. Is the American worker still employed? Ooh, great question or great answer. If he wants to be. Plenty of jobs right now and low unemployment. And that's just the truth, right? These are real numbers, real people. Let me throw a couple other questions out there. Are trade deals happening? What do you think? Are trade deals happening? That's funny. Yes, probably. I'm going to show you a couple things that actually show trade deals could be happening in the dark or being hidden. But maybe let's just put, yes, we believe so, even though not a single one has been announced. Okay. Are the models, geez, I wish I could, someday I'm going to tell. Are the models for portfolios shot to hell? What do you think? All these models for portfolios, are they shot to hell? Yes, with certainty. And I giggle on that one because the 60-40 lost over 30% again. And I have proof of that one right now. Okay. Oh, I had two more I wanted to go over. Oh, are we concerned with Ukraine, Russia? Okay, so that's funny because we just got yes, no, maybe so. Yes, yes, we don't trust Putin. I am not sure if it's right. Trump is. That's a great one. It's funny because Russia, Ukraine has been, I mean, we haven't heard about that in what, 6, 7, 8 weeks? Oh, we're close to a deal last week. The market hasn't moved on it, so I might say not really, but it is the key to 500 billion in rare earth metals. Are we concerned with Greenland? What do you think? Are we concerned with Greenland? Give Crimea back. Maybe, right? Dude, very interesting. I'm going to put that one in there as well. Only if the Davis Strait becomes a lifeline, which it's not right now. I mean, it's just not. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 9 total. I've got them written down here. I've got 2 more, but I want to go back to the things I've heard. For the first time in history, retail traders, as of right now, seem to be holding in and rewarded for not selling for the first time in history. And what we mean by that is we're looking at a round trip where the market closed right here in April. And I believe that number is 55.80.76. So 55.80 That's an 8. 0.76. And we dropped our 10%, and we're just, at one point it was like 2.3% from making it back. Look at the huge numbers of selling. Look at how we went just boom. Huge numbers. I mean, we hit over 6 billion shares in a day. It almost happened too quickly. I feel sorry for retail traders that sold in those 4 days. I'd like to think things happened so quickly, people weren't able to sell. But for the first time in history, and it hasn't happened yet, we were only up 0.6%, right? For the first time in history, there have been significantly, I should probably, for the first time in history, almost, it's not happened yet, almost, smart money has significantly more sell orders than dumb money. And dumb money is retail traders. And if the market returns 2.3%, then we just made a 1 month 10% loss round trip. Means we lost 10% and we gained it. Gained it back. Which I heard that from CNBC, and it has not happened yet, but there's that opportunity. We'll credit this to CNBC on April 28th, 2025. Show in the morning. I mean, shocking. Shocking. Markets were not meant to move that way. Investing decisions moving forward. Leaving shares of NVIDIA. Leaving energy / oil. They're doing awful. Absolutely awful. Keeping Mag 7 / technology stocks in play. And that also tells you that for my webinar that I'm on today, and there's a good chance here that CNBC is picking this one up, and I just had someone call in that I'm just letting her know what I'm doing, which also means, for all intents and purposes, that technology should be sold for a gain end of the year. So just for those that are here with us tonight, Technology should be sold here at the end of the year for a gain. So again, the 4 investing decisions moving forward. Leaving shares of NVIDIA, we're going to convert those to leaps, right? We're going to convert those to leaps. It doesn't make any sense for oil and energy. We've already seen this play out with Trump the first 4 years. No reason to be in energy or oil. They're going to be losers. If you look at the Mag 7 stocks and the technology stocks that are in play, those are the ones that lose the most, but those are also the ones that bring back the most or recover the most. And technology should be sold for a gain at the end of the year. You should be trimming some profits at the end of the year. We're going to have some big earnings this week. Big earnings this week. In fact, this is one of the busiest earnings weeks that we have. I'm not going to go through them all, but obviously on Wednesday, Yum China and Yum Brands. Caterpillar is going to give us an understanding of how much of some type of recession we're in or if we're not. Qualcomm, Meta, Microsoft. Wednesday is a huge day in the market. You have Apple reporting with Amazon on Thursday. You're going to get 3 of the Magnificent 7 that are reporting within 24 hours of each other. I found it interesting because you're going to pay attention to BP on Tuesday, and you're going to see really how poorly oil is going to do worldwide. General Motors reports on Tuesday with Honeywell. Those will be your 2 indicators on how well companies are doing with the tariffs. PayPal and Visa. PayPal will be an insight into how would you say it, into how the consumer, small consumer spending, while Visa, how much debt people are going into. Gold, we're going to see how much Barrick Gold goes into it, the big uprising in the gold pricing. Thursday, Granger Worldwide, Hilton, McDonald's, MasterCard, Beazer Homes, Juniper, Twillo, Eli Lilly, who's already pre-announced that things aren't going the way they should. Friday, CVX, ExxonMobil. There's a lot of companies reporting. In fact, this is the busiest week of earnings for the whole earnings season. It'll happen this week. If you can't figure out that we haven't been hurt by tariffs or how much we will be hurt by tariffs in the next 3 weeks, this is your week to figure it out. This is where we're going to have, as you say, the pavement meets the road, the rubber meets the road. This is where we're going to figure it out. It was a tough day today. Someone asked me, Kevin, again, another one of those, how did you know, right? I thought it was kind of funny. How did you know? And the question is, why didn't you sell or protect everything? Because the market was down. Boy, we had the S&P almost down, what, 1 and a bit, 1.12. It was at one point I saw. We almost had the NASDAQ down over 1.7%. How did you know? Why didn't you sell, protect everything? And to be honest with you, it's not like you know what the markets are going to do. In fact, there is a point in time you will have to let some of your stocks run higher. Pretty scary when you have a market that doesn't know what it's doing. Did we do something today? Yes, we rolled protection up on Apple. As much as we wanted to do out of the money protection and puts on Apple, we had to say, you know what? There's too much of a gain. It just gained 10% from 190 up to 210. Just gained 10% in about 2 weeks. Protect that 10% gain. We also put protection back on NVIDIA. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. people are like, Kevin, what's going on with NVIDIA? Why is it getting hammered yet again? And I found it really funny because NVIDIA stock fell today because China, and I don't know how to say that correctly, who he reported ready AI chip after Trump's export ban. So here's the short answer. For those of you that didn't know what happened to NVIDIA today, weren't sure why a stock lost 5% of its value, are the dumbs taking control of the world? The reality is yes. The company, and again, I said Huawei, has 910B and 910C chips that were supposed to be compatible and to take over NVIDIA. But one ran too hot and the other one pulled too much power. But now they have a 910D chip that are going to replace all these AI chips, all this artificial intelligence that NVIDIA has spent all this money dominating the sector. And all of a sudden, China, and if you think about it, right, China's come up with all these new contracts and all this new money that they don't need U.S. consumers to purchase $1.5 trillion of their crap. All of a sudden, they have an AI for $6 million that works just as good as all the American stuff, which we found out doesn't come close. And now they've got a chip or the semiconductor, these AI chips that they can use for their military and use to replace the NVIDIA chips. That's all right there, even though their first 3 iterations failed completely. The first one, 910A, barely sold. 910B, too hot and ruined the computers. 910C, too much power pull that they couldn't run the products or the motherboard that they were using. But 910D is damn good. It's going to be amazing. As you read through the article, it's hearsay. The chips aren't even ready, aren't even created, possibly won't be out till the end of May, but you take a 4% hit on a company that, banks $16 billion of free cash flow and, used to be one of the number 4 trillion dollar company in the world. Boy, since when did we start moving on unsubstantiated, unverified news? Welcome to the world that we're living in. It's also, if you'll notice, NVIDIA, for lack of a better term, it needs an earnings to get above the 110. And we won't have NVIDIA earnings until the end of May. So we're preparing for a move lower on NVIDIA. And for some, we sold the stock off. It's just too volatile and not a great stock to be in your portfolio. For others, we went ahead and we protected that stock with the long put. We would have liked to have protected it higher. But the short answer is we did the best we could. I mean, we're sitting on millions of dollars in, tens of millions of dollars in Mag 7 positions. The good news, NVIDIA is one of our smaller positions, and we're actually shifting away from it. It's just too volatile. The 2 questions via email that came through, and I found it interesting, but let me see if I can do the best I can to answer those questions. Yes, the tariffs are not against average tariff rates. They involve there you go, They involve the trade balance deficits. They are made to hurt and bring people to the table. And just for a little bit of help here, we brought up the Vietnam tariffs. And I found it very interesting because some of the tariffs are duty-free up until a point. Some of the tariffs that they have against us are up to 100 to 200% of what's there. And I just found it interesting because on average, we pay a 14.3% tariff on live animal meats, 16% on dairy products. Fruits and vegetables are 23.7. Coffee, tea, cocoa, and spices are 21.7% tariff. Cereals and food preparations an 18.6% tariff. There are a certain percentage that come in duty free. The maximum tariffs on those are between 40 and 50%. Oil seeds, fats, and oils, 12.1% average. Sugars, 36.4% tariff charge on that. Beverages and tobacco are 50.1%. Cotton, silk, and wool, 5.8. Other agricultural products, only 8.3 on average. Look at the max on some of those. 35% on oil seeds, fats, and oils. Sugars, 100% tariff, max tariff rate are available. Beverages and tobaccos are 135. Textiles can be up to 100%, even though the average is only 10.3. Clothing, on average, is 19.9, and the max that they charge is 20%. Going down to transport equipment, average is 20.3% tariff. Can go as high as 200. In some years, there have been 200% tariffs on transport equipment. When people were asking me what was Trump doing, let's face it, he went to find almost the highest tariff rate, which for Vietnam was transport equipment, and did half of a reciprocal. Did it bring some people to the table? Pretty quickly. Is it based on some equation? Probably not. As you try to find an answer for unanswerable questions, you just kind of make stuff up, right? There's not an equation that matches every single reciprocal tariff rate. You know what does match? Hey, their highest rate was 200. We're going to charge Vietnam a 96% tariff rate in return. There you go. There's what you now have as how we came up with these reciprocal tariff rates. We found their highest one. Boom, we're going to reciprocate tariffs on everything. Is it, and here's the second one, will it pay the U.S. consumers taxes? Not a chance. If you go through last year's, if you went through last week's, pretty sure it was last week, might have been the week before, we're not collecting the $2 billion a day that President Trump thought we were going to. We're collecting on average maybe $1.5 billion, and that's expected to go down. It's pretty neat because California is in an uproar. Well, if you wouldn't pay your people in California a minimum wage of $16.50, maybe you'd be in better shape. The Port of Long Beach, it's playing catch up. For the first time I can remember, it's getting caught up and getting through the containers that have been sitting there for years that were left. What an interesting way to clean up your ports. Will it, let's change that to tariffs, pay the U.S. consumer taxes? Please don't count on it. It doesn't make any sense to think you're not going to pay taxes. As I made it before, mathematically, it might pay for half of the taxes, but more importantly, Trump just has to get his tax plan through in the next 2 years. And we already have opposition to that as well. So, short answer to both of the questions. Was there really an equation, or how do you think that we came up with these tariff rates? Pretty simple. We went through those tariff rates, and to make a long story short, it looks like they just picked the highest tariff rate that they would tariff U.S. products, kind of cut it in half, boom, slapped it on them. Brilliant to get people to the table. Not so brilliant that we don't have, after 30 days, the 90-day moratorium, right? 30 days in, basically, I don't know if we have a country yet that's come to a trade agreement. Third of the time is up. They better get to work, and they better get to work quickly. All right, earnings. I didn't put the briefing.com in there. I didn't find too much in there. But short answer, looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we're not quite bullish. We still have our technical crossovers that were technically bearish because the RSI is close, but not quite there. Makes you wonder if today, where we couldn't hold those gains, but we also didn't hold the losses, makes you wonder if just a technical play, right? Technical play on the averages. Dow Jones is still bearish. S&P 500. Technically, we just crossed over bullish. Even though it doesn't feel like it, today would be your first day that we are bullish. So here's the question. Has the S&P 500 proven itself? No, it's not a 2 to 4 day bullish trend. It's a 1 to maybe 2 day bullish trend. If you use the 5 and the 20 moving averages, the 15 and the 30, the 9 and the 20, what's the other one I saw? The 13 and the 27. Technically, you'll have your bullish crossovers, but it's an unproven trend right now. It's a single day. 1 day a trend does not make. Last but not least, the NASDAQ, technically bullish. You have your positive crossovers on the MACD. Have your positive crossovers on the RSI. You do have a death cross, like your other indexes. The 50 days cross below the 200-day simple moving average. But very interesting. That normally means you have somewhere between 8.5% to 14% drop. You've got it. You've got it in a week and a half. Typically, death crosses or indexes do not move that quickly. Here you go. Same thing on the S&P 500. Right here. There's your 8.5% to 14% death cross drop. Happens in the next 30 to 90 days. It happened in our case 1, 2, 3, 4. It happened in a week, 5 trading days, and you got your average death cross drop on the S&P 500. I usually don't check the Dow, but let's check the Dow really quickly too. Death cross. And it did it in about, well, yeah, not quite though. It didn't get that 8 to 8.5, well, 10.8. Yeah, it did. There we go. We've got 4 days. The death cross drop of 8.5 to 14%. It fits close enough that it's happened and we're recovering. I can't wait to see where we finish up these next couple days. I would think we're going to go higher for the first time in what, 7-8 weeks. I'm looking to see our markets go higher. Now, understand, that doesn't mean that we're in the all clear stage. If we just use simple mathematics looking at our markets, the S&P 500, according to the CNBC Pro app, the application for the Pro, year to date, the S&P SPX 500 is down 6.00. If you take the 10.3% increase, we're still 16.3% away from our highs. Let me ask you a question. If you enjoyed the last week in the market with roughly a 4% increase, right? We still have a 16.3% increase to get back to the highs. We have 4 times that to go. Our accounts can move 4 times higher than they did last week. We have a huge amount of upside opportunity to look at and to go for. Okay, I will put the briefing.com's big picture in here. I just didn't find anything relevant. I've gone through earnings. Wednesday, huge day in the market. GDP, personal income, personal spending, pending home sales, PCE prices. I find it interesting. Anyone think we're going to have a rate cut in May or June? Does anyone think we're going to have a rate cut in May or June? What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to have a FOMC rate cut in any of our calendar meetings for May or June? May, it's the 6th and the 7th are the FOMC meetings. June is the 17th and 18th, which, boy, I'm pretty sure there's no press conference in June. There's a summary of economic projections, but no press conference, I don't think. So it's May, June, and July. What do you think? Rate cuts coming up? Friday will possibly give an indication. Well, I don't know if it's Friday so much as the PCE prices on Wednesday. I don't see any rate cuts happening. There's not enough data for Powell to make a rate cut. And more importantly, any way you look at it, more importantly, before that you see that rate cut, this is his opportunity to give Trump the finger. We'd be lucky to get 2 rate cuts. We might see a single rate cut in December. That would be my expectation. I don't see a September rate cut. I don't see an October rate cut, but that would be good because October is like the second worst month in our market. That would be the perfect time with a rate cut. But there's not enough data, most likely, not saying I'm 100% correct, but there's most likely not enough data that allows Powell to do a rate cut. Can he get bullied into it? Maybe. But it didn't seem like he was getting bullied into rate cuts or fearful that he was going to lose his job at all. So with all due respect, don't know if you can justify a rate cut. Definitely not in May. I don't see I can get one in June. Rate meeting is next Tuesday, Wednesday, coming up very soon here. Be surprising to see any rate cuts happening. Protection is out of the money. It was in place for last week, but we did move some protection up. We had a big move on Baidu. We moved protection up today for Apple. We added protection for NVIDIA. I will be honest with you, I'll probably get a little cold feet or chicken, and I'm probably moving protection up for Disney as well. I'm trying to give you guys as much information as I can in regards to Trump and China, what's going on here. A very interesting Treasury announcement from Bessett today that basically said it's up to China to de-escalate trade tensions. I found it interesting because we provoked it, yet it's their job to de-escalate it. But then I went to an interesting article that was sent to me that I cannot prove at this point, but China has been to the White House and has sent high officials in the Chinese finance, and I guess in their government, to start to negotiate or talk, not necessarily with Trump, but with those that he has in place. So pretty interesting. In fact, it just came out from India today that they are pretty close to doing a deal and that they will make it more difficult to buy from China. So as the third up and coming superpower, India has basically chosen its side. Doesn't mean they can't flip, but a really interesting article on how in secret or secretly China is meeting with the United States. One last interesting one, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, right? Can't stand the guy. But his take on leveraging the U.S. to getting China to back down on tariffs. I know some of you guys liked Keeves' Ben Shapiro commentary 2 weeks ago. And we've had some interesting conversations, but you know what the neat thing is? Numbers don't lie. You can spin numbers different ways, but numbers don't lie. And the numbers aren't lying for where Trump wants to see things. All right, last but not least for you, here locally from the KSL News, I can't wait to see a bunch of politics, a bunch of policymakers go to jail. It should show you that our gal that we have in there for the DOJ and the, I can't remember her name. But the short answer is we're coming after judges. Let me say it this way. The administration is coming after judges. It's coming after former representatives of the House. It's going to go after senators. It doesn't matter if you are liberal or conservative. It doesn't matter if you are Republican, Tea Party, or Democrat. If you did something wrong, they're coming after you. If you've made on $165,000 a year, millions in the U.S. government, Pim is coming to get you. Pim Bondi, right? Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. And I love it. If you ask me, I think it's going to be 2-1 Democrats against Republicans that are going to go to jail and get hit. Lock them up. lock them all up. That would be my expectation and my want, so that we can so that we're good to go. That's the short answer. I already did the NVIDIA stock for you. Boy, I did that article for you twice, but this one goes from CNBC instead of KSL. And then my last one. Bassett says China tariffs are not sustainable as U.S. signals willingness to de-escalate. So I wonder what was said a week ago on the 23rd that now puts it that, hey, you know what? It's up to China to take the next step. It's interesting because obviously there have been some meetings where Chinese officials have been over the United States, whether it was for Boeing or International Rights Day. They are over here, and so it'll be interesting to see what the takeaway is going to be from that one. And then, of course, Trump's approval rating, it's not doing good. We're starting to feel the fear. But if I could ask you guys here as a group, is there anyone here that can tell me where the tariffs have hurt them yet? I gave a couple examples last week, but can anyone right now here tell me what tariff has hurt you in the last 90 days? None, not one. Does that mean there's two? Nothing. Right now, I also can't come up with something that I've purchased that I looked at and went, huh, that's ridiculous. In fact, if anything, I don't purchase eggs, but I notice them, right? Eggs are coming down in prices in the stores. Thank goodness I got 27, 28 chickens that make my eggs for me. I can't come with anything either. With that said, what questions do you guys have for me? What can I answer for you that what can I answer for you that maybe I have an answer for you that short and simple. Here's your quick minute to ask me any questions you guys have that maybe I didn't answer in the email. Any questions I can answer? Oh, so where do I think we're going? Where are we going? So currently today, a slightly bullish trend. For the next 3 months, can't type. Let me get that out of my way. For the next 3 months, and this is this actually, let's say for the next 2 months. Stagnant to bullish, and then bullish the end of the year based on trade agreements being signed. And we'll trade accordingly. Don't be surprised to see stocks not giving guidance. And I think this is where you're going to get the best of the breed, right? The best of the breed, you'll see in semiconductors right now, the lower end, not best of the breed, are mixed. beating top line, missing bottom line. Missing bottom line, beating top line. Not giving guidance. Yet you'll see other ones that are beating top line, bottom line, saying that the AI trend is still intact and they're going to run that way. So you're going to learn who the best of the breed is. Micron and Nvidia look a lot better. MTSC look a lot better than Intel, and I can't remember the other one that reported today, but they were ugly. You'll know the good ones from the bad ones. What group or features of stocks do we consider in a current noise the best candidates for out of the money bull puts and longer term, right? Like leaps out to December. Look at the ones that have been beaten up but are still holding their margins. No brainer, Meta. Trading in the 550 range, was up as high as 720, moving on to 850. Meta's a great stock to be in. I think Costco, with its big drop, would be a great stock to be in. Block, the small consumer. If we get over the fear and it shows equal to the earnings that it had last time, even though it had a drop last time, Block has 100% rebound to it. Really, you should probably be focusing on technologies and financials and best of breeds. When you look at some of the earnings that came out, Key Corp, not so good. Zions Bank, not so good. You look at the regional banks, sucking it. You look at Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, knocked it out of the park. So, again, I think you're looking at best in breed. If I was to go for sectors for now the money that I'd feel comfortable coming back at the end of the year, technology and finance. Those are going to be what I would see leading in a bullish market or a recessionary market. I would see both those giving you the opportunities. Great question, Abraham. Any other questions you guys have? Bill, thanks for the help on the name there. All right. Hey, guys. Appreciate you being here with me tonight. You guys have a wonderful evening. I will see you again. No, I will not see you again next Monday. Next Monday, I turn 43. So I'm going golfing. I'm going out to dinner. You will not see me. It will most likely be Keith Bybee that will be entertaining us tomorrow evening. And we will we'll be we'll be gone from there. Guys, appreciate you being with me here tonight. Look forward to seeing you in the near future, 2 weeks from this Monday. Take care, everyone, and have a great night.